So the big news is that Norway may in fact kind of start to fall here because they're more than likely going to lose their capital either to Scotland or Poland. Pretty big pickup by either one of those two nations. And then we have finally the Hittites going to war against the Ottomans. This is something that we predicted for a really long time, and I really want to see how this is going to play out. And also in the last video, we saw the ideologies start to come into play. I'm so excited because I love this part, this whole new feature that gets added to the late game. Again, Brave New World is such a good expansion. I don't talk about that enough. Brave New World was such an amazing expansion for Civ 5. So yeah, we have Russia choosing autocracy, who are actually dealing with some problems here because, yeah, they're in dissidence already. And I believe that is mainly due to the fact that Byzantium joined in and got their own ideology. So right now it's just, Russia versus Byzantium. And obviously you're going to see a little bit of dissonance there because, well, Byzantium has 22 tourism, whereas Russia only has 10. So that's, obviously a pretty big issue. And overall, the big thing about this is that Russia actually has negative overall happiness, which is something that you don't see from the AI very often. It's not common at all. And usually... that's bad. That's usually bad. I mean, there's a reason why the developers let the AI on higher difficulties have pretty much unlimited happiness. Because, the AI isn't very smart, so when they get unhappy, they really don't know what to do. I don't think they understand, a lot of the basic mechanics to how to get happy again, how to get unhappy. I don't know, but I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but this is bad. That's very, very bad, and that's probably maybe the reason why Catherine isn't trying to expand. Maybe she had a pretty high unhappiness beforehand, so maybe that's why she's not expanding inside of Eastern Europe, because there's certainly a lot of land here, but that doesn't really explain that much. There must be something that the AI all kind of, I don't know, agrees to, because none of the AIs are going after these lands. Not even Germany's right here, and Germany's stuck inside of Europe, not able to do anything. Which, by the way, got a pretty good military here in the middle of the heart of Europe. Even Germany, though, is not doing anything. So anyways, let's check on what happens, because this is going to get exciting. The wars have not stopped, and I am probably going to be playing with these mods. The aggressive expansive mod, aggression expansion. I will always probably mess the pronunciation up of that mod's name, but as well as the smarter AI. I think those two are... I think clearly they make a huge difference, Oh, okay, there we go. So Germany declared war on France. They don't border each other, but Carthage also declared war on France. Technically that, no, they can't do anything either. Okay, yeah, France is pretty safe. It doesn't matter how many people declare war on them. As long as it's not Elizabeth, France is going to be pretty safe ultimately. All right, so here comes Poland. I don't know if they've moved yet. I think they have. They are really getting low on units, though. I will say Norway is, Is Denmark involved here? Denmark's not involved, I don't think, right? I don't believe they are. But actually, you know what? Norway does have some units to kind of defend a bit more. I don't know if they're going to get them there in time. The problem is that Scotland has a huge fleet just south of their capital. That's why, these units aren't really doing that much. They're probably going to get destroyed nonetheless. But, ooh. Oh, wow. Okay. That was interesting. Scotland decided to actually, I think, take out units that Norway controlled instead of attacking the city. They didn't attack the city too much, and they should have. That was a mistake. Okay, let's check on the Hittites. Wow, yeah, that's right, because remember, the Ottomans had most of their troops right here near the Byzantium border, and there was definitely a Cold War going on. They were just staring each other down. This is an interesting choice. Now, that was a huge war that popped up, and I didn't mention this, and I wish I did, in the intro or at the finale of the last video, is that yeah, it's a war between the Hittites and the Ottomans, but ultimately this affects the Byzantium Empire just as much as it affects these two nations participating in this war. It really does. It has an equal effect, because now, technically Byzantium is safer, or they can go and declare themselves an offensive war against Solomon. Right now, Byzantium's not at war with anybody. They've got an okay fleet, which is their big thing. They don't have really any land units, but they've got a good fleet. And you have Bursa here, that's bordering the Eastern Mediterranean. That would be a very simple city to take, especially with it so unguarded. While there's a big war going on here in around modern day Jerusalem, so around that region, I guess you could say. So yeah, this is a big setup for Byzantium as well as the Hittites and the Ottomans, because they're all kind of tied into each other. All the relationships between these nations are very, since they're so close and since their borders are so, I don't know, intertwined, it really affects everyone in this particular region. Not so much anyone outside of the region. Armenia still has a lack of troops, as well as they're worrying about their siege because Russia's trying to go after their northernmost city, but they'll be safe there. Sumer I didn't realize how low the Sumer were in military units as well. Egypt could also technically be argued that they are kind of involved in a war like this, but Egypt has so many other opportunities. Byzantium's closed off. That's why it's so important for Byzantium to have a close proximity war like this. Ooh, that is what I thought next. And wow, Askia finally took something from Dido. That is amazing. All right, there you go. Bam. It's a miracle. It is freaking a miracle. Oh my goodness. And, oh, of course, Carthage took it back. Okay, so everyone just declared war on the Ottomans, and the big one was that Byzantium declared war on the Ottomans. Was there anyone else that's big? Russia declaring war on the Ottomans was a pretty big deal, too. So the Hittites kind of took one for the team. Ooh, and Armenia. Wow. Does Hungary border? No, Hungary doesn't border anything here. England and Norway have peaced out. Sweden and Scotland have peaced out. We have the Goths declaring war on the Ottomans, which is a big deal too, because the Goths have this huge power in the North Black Sea region. Wow. Scotland has the most wonders. Awesome for them. The British Isles have done really well, I think, so far. Knock on wood, but so far in this campaign, they've done a really good job. I'm very proud of them. Okay, so what do we have? We have Ramses building up a sneak attack against somebody. Ramses plotting against Armenia. All right, Ottomans, this is huge. Now let's check on Norway really quick, very briefly. Yeah, Norway is really pushing hard for extra units. Poland declared war on or Egypt, just like the spy just said. Egypt declared war on Armenia. That's pretty. I love that. I'm glad that the spy. That's like one of the first times ever I can recall that the spy told us some information actually before it actually happened. Usually it's like bullcrap. Boom, Songhai took back Gades, but Carthage is going to take it back once again because yeah. Dido's got a huge force just south of Carthage. Wow. Ottomans, you're in a tough spot. And you know what's sad though is that the Hittites are probably going to take the blunt force. They probably won't end up. Nothing good is really going to come from them, I don't think, in this war. I think everyone surrounding them, like Byzantium, like Russia, like maybe even the Goths, will be the real beneficiaries from a war like this, a huge coalition war like this. Armenia might be good, but they do need to be careful about some Egyptians like kind of trekking across the Arabian Peninsula and going after their now city of Babylon. Wow, the Hittites got a lot of units. I didn't realize that. Again, let's check on Norway. Okay, so now Poland is actually having an impact. Poland is attacking a few Norwegian musketmen and as well as a Norwegian knight. This is distracting them a bit. Probably, maybe even distracting Norway from attacking the real foe here, which is Scotland, because Scotland's actually way closer to taking their capital than anything else. And this is, again, I think I said this in the intro, a very big pickup. If Scotland is able to take this, it'd be a huge pickup. Iceland just declared war on Armenia. Was that their sneak attack was for? I know in the last video we talked about how Iceland was building up a sneak attack, but I don't know who it was for. They're kind of gone. Maybe they were trying to go across the Mediterranean. How amazing would that be? I bet you the only person that like starts to actually settle in like Sahara and Eastern Europe is going to be Iceland. That is going to be hilarious. Okay, so Norway's really down to maybe a handful of units. This will be it. Milan and France have peaced out. Really briefly, what's going on here? The Ottomans are not doing so well, and I think the Ottomans have kind of retreated a bit, not really going so heavily for an offensive war against the Hittites, but now playing more defensively, trying to defend their territory from all the attacking units. The Goths are coming here too, which is going to be pretty crazy. The Goths do not have open borders through Byzantium, but there's a small sliver of land that they can try to move through to go after mainland Ottoman territory. Okay, let's see what happens here. I think Scotland is one of the last turns. I think that one of the last like leaders to process their turns. Norway and Milan peaced out. Russia and Armenia have peaced out. Good for Russia, leaving them alone. Armenia's going to be okay, I think, but we'll have to keep an eye again on the Egyptian military. Oh, Scotland, you are really taking your time, as well as, of course, you're making the absolutely deadly mistake of splitting up your regiments. Seems like a very, I shouldn't say that. I have no idea about anything modding wise, but, oh, Spain and the Ottomans have pieced out. Seems like it'd be a very easy change just to go into the AI and just to tell them, don't split up your AIs, or don't split up your targets. Focus on just one city. I know that's bad when you have like a huge military force, but honestly, if there was a mod like that, I would put it in. If you have a huge military force, just have everyone just stand around until you get one city at a time. Because usually, even attacking 2-3 cities at a time, it's not going to be the most efficient. AI loses more units than normal. Maybe it's not a good mod if you're actually playing the game, but for these AI-only battles, it'd be very entertaining to watch. It'd be much more efficient, I think, AI. Alright, so here's Byzantium, just south of Constantinople, and they're probably going to send a pretty large force of land units for Bursa. I don't really know where the Byzantine fleet is at. Yep, so Carthage is going to eventually take that back. The privateer is probably going to walk into that one. And, oh, there's the fleet. Oh, it's going up north, which is actually smart because if they don't give open borders to Russia or the Goths, then Byzantium's going to cut off those enemies in the north. And that means that they're going to keep Istanbul and, some of these other Ottoman cities to themselves. A very, very smart move that I'm sure the AI isn't thinking about, but it will cause a big impact. All right, so again, Scotland's having some trouble. As well as Poland isn't really contributing as much as we thought. They've got a huge military, but they're really not contributing much at all. Come on, Scotland. You gotta start using these frigates. You've got a lot of them. Don't peace out yet. Denmark and Sardinia. S's just get to me. Sweden, Sardinia, Scandinavia. Yeah, S is always Sumer. Not really Sumer, but yeah. How about these Ottoman cities? That's a big deal. There goes Carthage. They took back. Aski's been captured by Carthage. Yeah. So this is the big deal. Even if the Goths were to take this, which I don't think they will, I think Russia will take more than likely Konya. Catherine still has the opportunity of getting 2 to maybe even 3 cities with Izmir, all along the Caspian Sea. The problem is that we looked at is that Russia's unhappy. They're very unhappy. And I bet you they're only going to be more unhappy. They're going to be way more unhappy if they take these cities. If they take 2 or 3 more cities, oh my goodness. I don't really know how the AI is going to be able to balance that sort of unhappiness. Let's go ahead and check on it. I mean, maybe they helped. Maybe they fixed it. I don't know. Who knows? They're at -12, and it's not going to get any better. It's looking like it's going to get much, much worse. But again, I mean, this is still a big thing. So because the Ottomans have kind of retreated, that frees up the Hittites to probably take this city. I mean, there's so many units here. They could easily kind of unite their empire, which would be a really big day. Egypt, I think, is actually going to start their siege of Babylon soon against Armenia. There's a lot of units kind of building in Medina, so I think they're going to start to make their trek across the Sardinian, or I'm sorry, the Saudi Arabian Peninsula. They're going to go after this. They're going to go across this desert to probably attack Babylon. Perhaps, maybe, not sure yet. It's not guaranteed. Wow. Huge wars. I am absolutely in love with it. I'm so glad we had such a good campaign this time around. These AI-only battles with Civ 5 seem to be kind of a hit or a miss sometimes. That's something that I've noticed. I mean, and when I mean a hit or a miss, I'm not saying that they're boring. Every AI-only battle I think I've ever done always has they always have portions that are really exciting. But then some of them have really like big portions of boringness where nothing really happens. This has not been the case, and I really have to thank, I think, the aggressive and expansive mod. I think that's the reason why. As well as I think that playing on Emperor difficulty is probably best. Boom, yes they did. Russia was the one to take over. Actually, no, this wasn't this city. This was this one over here, and they're going to go after more. Yeah, I think we kind of figured it out, that this is the best setup right here, I think. I might experiment with deity maybe in the future a little bit more. Because, I knew they were going to do that. I absolutely knew they were going to do that. Scotland, just as I talked about that. Maybe, so yeah, maybe pushing the difficulty to Emperor would be a little bit better. But, I'm sorry, Immortal instead of Emperor would maybe help out a little bit more. Obviously, the AI is still going to make bonehead moves like that. But I think that we've pretty much made. I think this campaign has been top 2. I would say top 2. It honestly has been really, really interesting. All right, let's see how the Ottomans are doing. Again, the Ottomans have been pretty lucky so far. There's a huge... They're fighting so many different fronts right now. They haven't lost anything, and it's been quite a few turns. I'm not saying that they won't. I'm pretty sure they will. So, wow, Norway has dodged a huge bullet. Dodged a massive, massive bullet there. That could have ended so bad for Norway. Pretty much the end. That would have been pretty much the end of Norway. Losing the capital like that, they should have lost Helsinki as well. But losing the capital at 19 population, yeah, that's it. So Norway is still very much in this game. And we clearly saw, while they're defending their cities, that they're able to kind of bring up a pretty massive force. They do need to still worry about Poland, but Poland's being dumb right now, and they don't have open borders through Sweden as well. That's not dumb, but I'm just saying they don't have open borders through Sweden, and the Polish AI is not the smartest. So that's kind of helping Norway a lot right now. Ramses is playing against Elizabeth. Bulgaria and Spain have peaced out. I didn't even realize that they knew of each other. Obviously, I knew they did because of the World Congress, but I mean, like, how? Why would Spain declare that war against Bulgaria? What did Bulgaria do? Nothing. Austria seems to be moving units down south. There's still a lot of units just chilling here in just kind of the heart of Europe. Spain again going after Switzerland, and I guarantee you there will be nothing. William has completed the Big Ben project, or I guess Big Ben Wonder, I should say. And rebels popping up from, it looks like, Germany. Wow. All right. Oh, and the Hittites. Look at that. Look at that. They did. They united their empire. Oh, I mean, there's this city that is not united. But yeah, that's a big pickup there, because now you're talking about 4 very good cities. Now they're all connected. You know, build the infrastructure up. Really big deal there. And now Byzantium will more than likely expand on their own. Yeah, this is bad. This is very, very bad for the Ottomans. Technically, the Ottomans could take it back, and actually they might here. That is in the red. Obviously, the Hittites will... Oh, they got lucky. They got so lucky. Because, you know, if that would have exchanged hands 2 more times, and the city would have been at 1 population or something like that, that's completely unusable for the next, like, 20 turns. But yeah, no, that's very good for the Hittites. Now we have to see exactly what other Ottoman cities fall. The Goths aren't trying to approach Solomon anymore. They're not going to try to send anything through the Black Sea, which is probably ultimately for the best. Really loving this region of the map, just because we have... Actually, you know, technically the Goths could steal this away, and actually they look like they might. They're only Gatling guns, but Russia doesn't have any melee units. There's a rifleman up north near Attila's court, but still. All right, so World's Fair or the banning of luxuries of furs. I don't know who really has furs, but okay. Everyone's still at 2 across the board. No one doing anything too interesting. How's there 2 across the board? How is there not somebody with 3? Well, this doesn't include all the AIs. That might be all the modded AIs. I mean, maybe that's a factor. It probably is the factor. Yeah, so I don't think I talked about that. But yeah, no, the modded... Did I talk about that? I think I brought that up to you guys, right? The modded AIs are not in the World Congress. That sucks. And I bet you it's because of one modded AI that doesn't let any of the modded AIs. I bet you one of them is kind of a little bugged out, so they just didn't let any of the modded AIs go into it. I think that's just a guess, but we've seen it. We've had it before in the past when we have played with mods. They're in the World Congress, so I think it's just one of the newer modded AIs that we've included in this campaign that's kind of ruining it for everybody. That's the problem when you play with mods, but again, it's a risk that we take because it makes things much more entertaining. All right, so they still haven't acquired anything. There's still no more Ottoman cities that have exchanged hands. Technically, the Hittites still have a pretty big military. They could go after Istanbul. There is a nice little road leading straight to Istanbul, and the Hittites are using that road to their advantage right now. So they might go after the capital. Furs was in fact banned, and the World's Fair was passed. All right, guys, I'm about to stop right there. Austria and Norway have peaced out. Wow. Love that there is not a dull moment in this campaign. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.